After experiencing the stunning and beautiful masterpiece of The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt, just about everyone is excited for the future of CD Projekt Red. Their next entry into the open-world RPG genre will not be a new Witcher, but Cyberpunk 2077, a franchise that already has a somewhat established world and setting with Night City. But today we're going to be going through 5 things that you must know about Cyberpunk 2077. Nonetheless, we're going to jump right into it right now, here at the number 5 spot with creative new features. CD Projekt Red has now established themselves as a top-tier developer, creating arguably one of the greatest video games of all time, and there's now a ton of attention and you probably could say pressure on their future games to follow. Everything we've heard so far about this game is intriguing, and it seems that the innovative ideas and features will continue onwards within Night City. We've so far only gotten a glimpse into our next journey from CD Projekt Red, but let's look at some of the intriguing new features that have been discussed. Back in 2013, the idea was floated around that they may record all dialogue in each character's language. So Spanish, for instance, would have the player use a translator implant to decipher the language. And honestly, this is exciting because it adds to the immersion, but it also probably is very difficult based on the amount of work that would have to be done to ensure this feature is utilized to the full potential. But next we have his brain dance as a form of futuristic drug-like virtual reality that will play a major role. It's been described as, quote, people live someone else's life while sleeping in the gutter, unquote. And that comment is coming from the lead gameplay designer in an interview with The Verge. We also know that there won't be a predestined hero like Geralt was in the Witcher series, but instead they will have character classes to choose from. And lastly we have is in late 2016, it was found through Cyberpunk 2077 job ads that CD Projekt was searching for a vehicle gameplay programmer who could create the whole architecture and the physics of driving / flying in those vehicles, pretty much implying we should see various vehicles within this game, and that sounds awesome to me. Maybe something that is obvious, but when I imagine how this could play out, look to other pieces of media like the films The Fifth Element or Blade Runner. No matter what, we can expect tons of new and fun features, but just from the ones we have heard, CD Projekt Red is truly going to push the boundary of how big and bold an RPG can be. But now to the number 4 spot, we have the development of Cyberpunk 2077. It's fairly obvious that this game was announced maybe a little too early. With all these years of development, this should show that CD Projekt Red is taking their time to ensure us gamers get the best possible experience. But it all begins in 2012 when Mike Pondsmith, the creator of the original tabletop game, and Marcin Nowinski, one of the founders of CD Projekt, revealed Cyberpunk 2077. But as time has moved past that 2012 reveal, we haven't seen much of Cyberpunk 2077. In early 2013, we got our first teaser trailer for the game, which showed the Psycho Squad and how they might acquire a new member, and also the setting of Night City. Since that trailer, we have not seen anything new for this game, and there are a few reasons. The first being that CD Projekt Red was still working on The Witcher 3 and its DLC expansions that came in 2015 and 2016, but now that is behind them. The second reason was that one of CD Projekt's founders, Marcin Nowinski, has stated that they began taking the approach that Rockstar Games has, which is staying quiet till they're ready to show off more, and when the game's development is closing out on completion. But in September of 2016, we did learn that more people are working on Cyberpunk 2077 than ever worked on The Witcher 3 at the same time. So it sounds like the developers are hard at work right now, probably the most crucial part of development. In 2015, CD Projekt Red's visual effects artist revealed that, quote, Cyberpunk 2077 is far bigger than anything else that CD Projekt Red has done before, far bigger. We're really stepping into the unknown in terms of complexity and size and problems we encounter, unquote. But recently in 2017, it was found that the official website was showing the ESRB rating for Cyberpunk 2077, and just from some of the wording, a lot of the elements that made The Witcher 3 even more, quote, fun, unquote, will be returning. Although I do want to mention that no official rating has been given, but I think we can conclude that CD Projekt Red expects to see this rating, so that's why they put it on their website. But the latest update we got was actually a few days ago at a financial results conference where CD Projekt Red studio head Adam Badowski got on stage to say progress on Cyberpunk 2077 was, quote, quite advanced, unquote, and that the studio's biggest team comprised of several hundreds of people was working on the game. CD Projekt's president Adam Kaczynski added, quote, the project is very ambitious, unquote, pointing out that each of CD Projekt's games has been more successful than the last. And he goes on to say, quote, the ambitions are very voracious, so we would like to devote a lot of attention to cyber, a lot of effort, and quite some time, so we still need time before the game is ready, unquote. He later added, quote, the work is ongoing and it's very intense, so it's not a comfortable situation because we know what it's like. We watch the game, we can't tell you anything. The year belongs to Gwent. This year we'll be communicating Gwent, unquote. Either way, it's clear as day that CD Projekt Red is taking their time with this, even saying that they're having fun with it all. After Gwent does release, it has been said that there will be around 400 people working on Cyberpunk 2077, and it sounds like they are just excited about this as we are. But now to the number 3 spot we have is multiplayer. This will be a new addition in Cyberpunk 2077, something that has worried fans because most of us feel that they should just concentrate on the single player side. In September of 2016, grants were found for the game, and CD Projekt were found describing this mode as seamless multiplayer, a complex technology for making unique multiplayer gameplay mechanics, including the ability to search for opponents, manage game session, and support for different game modes along with a unique set of dedicated tools. Originally, The Witcher 3 was rumored to include multiplayer, but obviously that never came to be. But in Cyberpunk 2077 it will be featured, although we still don't really know the extent of that yet, except that single player has the main attention. Now to the number 2 spot we have is the backstory. The world we shall be entering into, we already know some key details as this is based on Mike Pondsmith's Cyberpunk, and he has given us some teases. With this game jumping 50 years later, you have to understand the lore and what happened before, as these events will play a major role within the story. So to start, around 2020, corporations ruled because following a vast socio-economical collapse and a period of martial law, the United States government has had to rely on several mega corporations to survive, and which has given them full power to operate as they will. In 2023, 2 of these corporations battle for control of a third company, which leads to both seeking mercenaries. One hires the Japanese diversified technology and security services firm Arasaka, and the other hires the American military technology and mercenary services firm Militech. This ultimately leads to a war known as the Fourth Corporate War, in which these companies Arasaka and Militech forget their customers who hired them as mercenaries and go after each other because of a long bitter rivalry between the two. And in 2024, the end result is a low-yield tactical nuke being deployed by Militech Special Forces team on Arasaka, which sets off a 2-kiloton self-destruct bomb that Arasaka had placed in its data core. This would end up destroying much of downtown Night City and contaminated the ruins and anything downwind of it with lethal fallout. Mike Pondsmith has said that following the Fourth Corporate War and the tactical nuke that was dropped on Arasaka in 2024, that left kind of a really large real estate space that they're going to be playing around within Cyberpunk 2077. So we probably can expect to see a rebuilt Night City and seeing the effects of this event throughout the game. But lastly, here at the number 1 spot we have is the release date. As I stated earlier, CD Projekt Red is going to ensure this game is the best it can be, which is something we saw with The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt, which is, why we got those delays. 2017 is off the table as that will be dedicated to Gwent, and some early reports suggested this could be a late 2018 release, but some recent news has now pushed that back a little further to mid to late 2019, as it was found in grant documents that the project would run to June 2019 without an extension. So what it sounds like is that it's expected the development deadline is June 2019, so it very much could come sooner, but from these documents, sometime in 2019 will be our probable release window. Although this wait is killing a lot of us, I think most of us understand we have to give CD Projekt Red time, as they have earned it with just how great the Witcher franchise was. Anyway guys, thank you for watching. Make sure to smack that like button if you did enjoy this video, or